Greetings to Miss Amy. My name is Jessica Untor from M103A. I'm as a group leader for the group 3. Today, our group represents about the Genius Stationery that provided two types of services that known as the postal state service and also the binding service. So my other group member will introduce themselves afterward in their own part.
Hello, Miss. I am Veronica Given Winston, and I will present to you about the business background. In this assignment, we have choose a business that provides printing and binding services. The name of the shop is called Genius Stationery. Okay, Genius Stationery has been established on 15th September 2016. The owner of the shop is called Mr. Udin Sangai. Next, Genius Stationery is located at Pusat Plaza, UITM campus, Samarahan 2. Okay, for your information, the scale of the shop is small since it only provides services mostly to students only. Meanwhile, the scope is to reduce per unit costs and increase efficiency, so he decided to add variety of stationery such as papers, pens, files, etc. And just to let you know, Genius Stationaries falls under a company called Denrina Sudan Mahad that was established in 1990 and is owned by Mr. Uden's family. That's all for me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Clara Messenger. I'll be explaining on the flowchart of works plan. Next, service costing in Genius Stationery. Explanation of service costing methodologies utilized. Service accounting. It is a type of operating cost that is employed by business that produces services than goods. One of the methods that we use is job costing method. Job costing is a form of specific order costing under which job is treated as a cost unit and costs are accumulated and ascertained separately for each job. This is by the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants. Our chosen services is printing and binding that is provided by the Genius Stationery. Thus, our group has prepared a job cost card to collect costs for each service. Job cost card is a form of document that organizations who utilize the work order costing method to compute and allocate costs to products and services used to record manufacturing. In addition to that, we also manage to provide identification and breakdown of direct labor costs for service delivery. Direct labor costs, it is a pay given to the individual directly involved in the manufacturing of completed items. As shown below, this is the example on how the owner of Genius Stationery distribute worker salary based on working hours during the days of service. Wages per hour is 6 ringgit, working hours is 8 hours. So the wages times the working hours and times by 2 days will be 96 ringgit.
Hello, my name is Dorothea Anaromia, and I'm going to proceed with analysis of direct expenses related to service provisions. In here, direct expenses is defined as expense that is directly related to variations in the volume of a cost subject. It is an item that are tracking costs for. Our group has two direct expenses, which is photostat machine maintenance and photostat machine rental. As you can look on the table side, photostat machine rental maintenance, costs 280 ringgit per month, whereas photostat machine rental costs 300 ringgit per month. Next, we have allocations of overhead cost specific to services, which is photostat and binding services. In here, we have direct material, which is under photostat. We have ink and A4 paper, where ink costs 165 ringgit, A4 paper costs 40 cents. Under binding, we have binding comb, costs 1 ringgit, reinforcement ring costs 3 ringgit, index divider costs 60 cents, and binding cover costs 70 cents. Where working hour is 8 hours per day and 1 hour costs 6 ringgit. Total wages 6 times 8 times 2 costs 96 ringgit. Expenses were photostat. We have photostat machine maintenance, which is per month 280 ringgit. Photostat machines rental for 300 ringgit. Then we have binding, which is binding machine costs 848 ringgit. Next, we have indirect expenses, where we have photostat and binding both combined for store rental and utility, where store rental costs 580 ringgit and utility costs 200 ringgit. Counter the overhead rate, where total production unit divide by direct labor hour, which is 1,741 ringgit plus 1,741 ringgit 40 cents over 96 ringgit plus 96 ringgit costs 18 ringgit and 40 cents per labor hour.
Moving on to my part, I will explain about the real world examples showcasing the implementations of service costing, or known as competitions of profit. For the first one, I will explain about the photo test service job cost card. So the job number is A10300P. In this direct cost, it consists of direct material, direct labor hours, and direct expense. For the direct material, we put ink and A4 paper under the direct material. For the ink, it only uses black color because that what the customer requests for this type of services that costs 665 ringgit, and A4 paper that costs 40 cents, and times with 300 paper pieces that requested by the customer. Next one is direct labor hours. Working hours for this business entity is 8 hours per day, and 6 ringgit that will be the per hours, or the rate of the salary for the employee that involved in these services. So we count this as 600 times with 8 hours, and also we times with 2 days, because the 300 papers is already can be settled in 2 days. That's cost like 96 ringgit. For the direct expense, we have photostat machine maintenance that costs 280 ringgit per month, and photostat machine rental that the rental is pay for 300 ringgit per month, that costs 580. Next, for the prime cost is the total for the direct material plus with direct labor hours and direct expense that amounted 961 ringgit. Proceeds to the production overhead, we only that only consists in direct expense. Store rental that amounted 580 ringgit per month. Utility that only use electricity as their utility that costs 200 ringgit per month, and the amount or the total of the indirect expense is 780 ringgit. For the total production overhead cost is 780 ringgit only. So for the total cost, we plus prime cost with the total production overhead cost that amounted 1,741 ringgit. So for the profit, as we get going through the interview with the business owners, say that they're using like 20% margin, or known as a 20% on selling price. So in here we provide how we going to count the profit. So 20 divide by the 80 times with 407 1000 I'm sorry, 1741 ringgit that amounted 435 ringgit 25 cent. For the selling price, the cost is plus with the profit that cost and amounted 2176 ringgit 25 cents. Proceeds with the binding service job cost card. So for this one is Genius Stationery, as we know, is the business name, job cost card, and the job numbers is equal to the A10300B. For the direct cost is fall under direct material, that consists of direct material, direct labors, hours, and direct expense. For the direct material, it has like A4 papers. So for the A4 paper, it's just for the 10 papers will be just amounted 20 cents. That's mean for the binding service will provided to the customer. For this customer, it's 30 times. You need 30 times to binding the paper. So that's why it's 20 cents times with 30. So for the binding comb is only needed one. So this amounted 1 ringgit only. For the reinforcement ring that equal to 300 per box. Index divider needed is only 10 pieces. So that's why 60 cents times with 10 pieces, and the binding covers is only needed 2 pieces. So that's why 70 cents times with 2 pieces for the front covers and the back covers. For the direct labor hours is the working hours is equal to 8 hours, and 6 ringgit is just to the labor, so 6 ringgit per hour. So that's why it's equal to the 6 ringgit times with 8 hours, and also times with 2 days, because the binding service will be done within the 2 days. So the next one is direct expenses. Direct expenses consists of the binding machines that equal to 848 ringgit. So the total of the prime cost, all of the direct cost is equal to 961 ringgit 40 cent. For the next one is productions overhead. For productions overhead, it consists only indirect expense. The indirect expense consists also store rental 580 ringgit per month. For the utility, it's only using electricity, 200 ringgit per month. For the indirect expense is equal to the photostat service. So the amounted 780 ringgit. So the total production overhead cost is also amounted 780 ringgit. So the total cost is equal to 1,741 ringgit 40 cent. For the next one is I will explain about the profit, how to compute the profit in the binding service. So 20% margins, or known as 20% on selling price. So we need to 20 divide by 80 times with 1,741 ringgit 40 cents. That's equal to the 435 ringgit 35 cents. So the selling price is equal to the total cost plus with the profit that equal to 2,176 ringgit 75. That's all for the jobs cost card for both of binding service and also photostat service for this Genius Stationery. Next one, we will proceed to the job number. I will explain why we're using for the A10300P and also B. So in our job cost card, we have mentioned that the job number for our cost card Q is A10300 A300P and A1003B to track two types of service in the business. This is to differentiate between two different services provided by the Genius Stationery. So in this business, A represent the first name of the alphabet that called as Abraham Anak James, that the customer name. The number 10 is represented as the sequence number of customer who come to the store to get postal stamp and binding service. Other than that, for the 300, also represent the number of order that the customer requests, which is 300 pages of paper to be postal stamp and binding. In addition, the last alphabet that was used and the job numbers as P and B is represent the type of service used by the customer.
Hi, my name is Norilah Himoni Bitri Abdullah. So my part is reflection and conclusion. The self-reflection is I learn more understanding about the business, manage the business while generating profit. So the suggestion to improve the business, the first one is promotion email. It is a belief that email marketing is a very powerful and effective tool for reaching target, prospect, and promoting product. In reality, email is used to offer a good service, preserve a client relation, and cultivate the devoid clientele, and even sway a customer purchasing choice. Nevertheless, some email providers get bored by this kind of communication and mark them as spam. The second is social media and viral content. Social media and post priorities information reader about the product they are selling. This content is shared through social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. The message that communicate is the form of a picture, video, or text. As long as the metric report increase term of visible and traffic volume, they will have advantages in chain optimization. The third is talk-based marketing. What is meant by conversation marketing is that allow customer to make purchase silently using chatbot or live chat. Customers are free to receive a prompt response. This measures time and customer have their own time to make a decision before making purchase based on a frivolous complete task. Utilizing a WhatsApp is also referred to as conversational marketing. So for the conclusion for the assignment is from our research, the store not have any to promote their store. The owner effort and industry experience is also crucial to the stationery business. Just be sure to fully understand the fees involved before opening the shop by conducting thorough research. And also, always maintain high quality product in the stock to attract and customer.
Okay, next we move on to the Q&A session. The first question is, what is a cost statement? Well, a cost statement is a financial document that outlines the various costs incurred by a business or organization during a specific period. It typically um, includes the cost of goods sold, operating expenses, and other relevant costs. The details of a cost statement are often used for internal management purposes, decision making, and financial analysis. These classifications of costs and their implications are important components of a cost statement. Most cost sheets contain a minimum of 3 primary sections labeled direct materials, direct labor, and overhead. This document is essential for understanding the financial performance and cost structure of an entity.
This question and answer sessions, I will answer question number 2. Why do you think preparing the cost statement will benefit the business entity? For the first one, it will allow the business owner to monitor and analyze their expense and also enabling them to better control over the cost. The second one is cost statement become as a valuable tools for budgeting and financial planning for the current business. The last one is because it can create a transparency within the organization stakeholders, including management, investors, and employees, so that all of the involved in the business will know the current performance. That's all for me.
What are the three main cost components of the two selected products or services in the chosen business? In here, I have listed three, which is paper cost, ink cost, and binding material cost. So in here, paper cost is focusing on both binding and also photostat services, while ink cost is more to photostat services, and last but not least, we have binding material, which is more focusing on the binding services. That's all for me. Thank you.
To answer this question, the current practice of the entity in determining the price of the product selected. The first is value-based. Value-based is pricing based the cost of a good or service on what the target marketing it is worth. Value-based pricing offers an external perspective and offers the internal or lateral one toward other business. The second is cost plus pricing. With the cost plus pricing, your target profit margin and production cost serve as the foundation for your product price strategy. This pricing technique is quite straightforward. All you have to do is add a certain percentage and product development expenditure in order to cover your profit margin.
Question 5. What would you recommend the business entity to ensure improved cost management that would benefit the entity's cash flow and profitability? The first recommendation for Genius Stationery is that the business should plan its budget before purchasing the required materials for printing and binding services. The money balance can be also used to pay utilities and leases. The second recommendation is the owner should constantly monitor the expenses that contribute to the services of printing and binding. This is to assist the owner in immediately identifying whether the business is experiencing profit or loss. The business of the Genius Stationery should also use better technology of keeping track of the business expenses. This is recommended so that the business can make less mistakes when recording cash flow. The last one is that the owner should compare prices from other shops to make sure that there is more availability of customers that is using the services provided. Hence, Genius Stationery can get more benefit for their entity's cash flow and profitability.